Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for being here. For those of you who don't know me, and thanks for the introduction, Dave, I'm the Division Director of Operations. My name is Eric Crump. The Operations Division is the largest of the Community Services Department. We have 156 permanent employees working throughout the county. That does not include all of our seasonal employees and our temporary employees that assist in our parks and our roads. We have team members working all over the county, all the way up in Via to places like the historic courthouse, the Bowers Mansion pool, our beautiful regional parks, Lake Tahoe, and the jail, but they get to come home every night. Today we'll be giving you kind of the 30,000 foot view of what operations does so you can get a general understanding of how we serve Washoe County. There are four main operational areas within the Community Services Department. Plus the super important administrative support team led by Rachel Anderline, our safety training coordinator, Brian Webb, and our business intelligence program led by Aaron Smith. As you can see from the slide, the four operational areas include equipment services, roads, parks, and facilities, and each of those areas is led by a superintendent who will be up shortly to talk about their respective teams. Our operations team serves both internal and external customers and is generally responsible for the day-to-day operation and maintenance of over $2 billion worth of infrastructure for the county. These assets include the county's awesome park system, our open space system, the road system, our county vehicles, equipment, and county buildings. Our Longley Lane serves as kind of our primary hub for the operations division. All of our superintendents are there. Our safety coordinator, our business intelligence program manager, and our administrative support team are all located at 3101 Longley Complex. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Rachel Anderline. She's our administrative secretary supervisor leading our admin support team.
Thank you. Operations support team consists of myself and 3 office support specialists. As a small team, everyone pitches in, but the principal assignments are Bonnie for parks and facilities, Karen for roads, and Mary for equipment services. Thanks to the hybrid work schedule, our work days are spent at Longley Lane, 9th Street mailroom, or 1 day a week teleworking. Our team is responsible for all the accounting functions for parks, facilities, roads, and equipment services. That includes all purchase order requisitions and invoice processing and pro card purchase processing for over 145 employees. In July of 2021, Operations Administration took over the daily operation of the mailroom here at 9th Street. We rotate days staffing the mailroom and our responsibilities at Longley Lane. The mailroom is always accessible, but there are staff there between 7:30 and 1 daily. Check out the FAQs on our mail services SharePoint page. We also facilitate fuel card management for county vehicles and the roads line and facilities line. The roads line is a widely publicized public line and receives calls from everything from potholes and ditch cleaning to missing street signs or law enforcement when they have an accident and they need a bunch of pallets cleaned off a roadway. The facilities line, some of you might be more familiar with, it's a widely publicized internal line where Washoe County employees can call to reach a facility technician for building issues expeditiously after a work order is put in, of course. I also assist Aaron Smith, our business intelligence program manager, with Asset Essentials, Brightly, formerly Facility Dude, user profiles. Some of the frequently asked questions answered by operations administrative support staff are, I need a gas pin, or the gas card is missing from my vehicle. You get a hold of Mary and she can get you a new pin, a new card, and even a wash card if your vehicle's really dirty. I need a picture hung in my office. Asset Essentials work order is a key trigger to getting your picture hung, but we can also get you connected with a facility tech if you haven't seen that come to fruition recently. Storm drains are blocked or someone got sick in the hall of your offices we can help with. And also most recently, as I mentioned, I need to mail something certified mail. We can get you pointed in the right direction and point you to the FAQs for those procedures to get your mail sent accurately and timely. Introduce Dave Gonzalez, Equipment Services.
You're going to have to raise this back up, Martin, when you come up. Good afternoon. I'm Dave Gonzalez, the Equipment Services Superintendent. You can see from the slide, our operation is made up of 2 supervisors, Rick Anderson, who's our light shop supervisor, and Tom Altiza, who manages the heavy shop, and their staff below are listed. We have, I think it's the next slide already. Nope, I'm going to go back. Sorry. We have operations at Longley. We have a heavy shop, light shop, parts warehouse, and then we have a shop at Incline, we have a shop at Gerlach, and we have a shop at Par Boulevard, and there's staff in all of those locations. Some of the key responsibilities for Equipment Services. Our fund is an internal service fund with an operating expense budget of about $8.5 million. This year we have an extra large capital budget, a lot of it due to the carryover from prior fiscal years, mostly resulted from delays in receiving equipment, vehicles, and things of that nature with this crazy COVID, post-COVID, no microchip world that we live in. We maintain over 1,100 units in our system, everything from boats and motorcycles to SWAT vehicles, snowcats, ATVs, and of course the day-to-day vehicles. Ultimately, at the end of the useful life of this fleet, we're also responsible in conjunction with purchasing on disposing of those vehicles and equipment at our public auction that takes place twice a year. Some of the driver's responsibilities, so if you're driving a county vehicle, please know your PIN number. Again, you can get those through Mary. If you're a new employee, don't have a PIN number yet, but plan on driving a county vehicle, that's pretty critical. Make sure when you're buying fuel that you enter your odometer and your PIN number correctly. Look and listen to your vehicle. Hopefully you treat your own the same way or vice versa. Listen for noises, flat tires, warning lights on the dashboard. That'll help us a lot in diagnosing and keeping the fleet running smoothly and efficiently and safely. And a few questions that we get periodically. The important one to know is in your glove box. That red envelope lives in there, along with some other additional important information, numbers for tow company, numbers for the shops, the procedures that you need to follow if you happen to be in an accident, where you take your vehicle for service. Typically, it's going to come to our Longley Lane complex, either to the heavy equipment shop or to the automotive shop. Where can you get gas? It's almost easier to tell you where you can't. Our fuel card works in nearly every service station in town now, so that's fairly easy. And where do I go if I need a vehicle? I'd say go to your supervisor. But in operations and in CSD, generally we have a good fleet. It services the new employees well. Typically, a department will ask for a new vehicle if they're also getting a new employee. We do not have a managed motor pool. So if you're without a vehicle, start within your own respective operation area. And if you don't have one there, then beg your boss to buy you one, I guess. With that, I'll turn it over to Brett Simmerly with Roads. Or is it Scott Martin? It's Scott Martin.
You're gonna raise it up for me here? Good afternoon, my name is Scott Martin. I'm the Facility Operations Superintendent. This is our facilities org chart. I'm not going to go through everybody's name here due to time constraints. The thing you do need to know is these people are very experienced, vast backgrounds. They're very good at what they do. They make CSD and myself look good, which is really, really hard to do, making me look good. We have about 488 buildings, 2.5 million square feet, approximately a $4.5 million operating budget. Our buildings are, average building's about 38 years old, so they're not all brand new by any means. Last year we did 8,246 work orders. It's amazing. We have 125 special work orders per week. The average facility tech has about 128,000 square foot that they're responsible for. National average is about 50,000, so they're super busy with what they got. And we do all this with one control specialist. We have 2 contract services folks. We got 3 painters, 3 carpenters, 15 maintenance techs, and 2 maintenance workers. As you can see, by the graphic there, we're stretched out from Gerlach via Incline, Washoe Valley, so geographically we're really spread out. So some of the key services, you can see Ron Presley, our trade supervisor there, we do a lot of work, but we also have quite a bit of fun along the way, so you can kind of see that by Ron's picture there. But some of the key services we do, of course, facility maintenance, custodial service, snow removal, pest control, signage, small remodels we do get involved with, parking, recycling, fire alarms, fire extinguishers, people come through picking up fire extinguishers, security, we don't do a lot of that anymore, elevators, we're involved with all that. Some of the frequently asked questions we get all the time, how do I report a maintenance issue? Well, every building has somebody, or usually two people, that have access to Asset Essentials. Find those folks in your building or on your floor, and if you have a need in your area, just report to them and they'll submit an Asset Essentials work order, and then we'll have somebody out to take care of your issues. The other question we get is, what if there's an emergency? So if there's an emergency, during normal working hours, 7 to 4:30, you can call 328-2170, and that reaches our operations headquarters at Longley. Probably get a hold of Rachel or one of her staff, and they can reach us. If we have an after-hours issue, you got a broken pipe or any issue, we have a facility tech on duty 24/7. You can call 328-2953, and we'll have somebody respond within the hour to take care of any emergency issue that you do have. And then if there's any questions, we have a guide to services that can be found on Inside CSD. And we'll turn it over to Brett. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Brett Simmerly. I'm the Operations Superintendent over roads. This is our roads team here. We're 57 strong, resilient, hardworking, loyal, and when there's something to be done, these guys are they're there. They fight the fight. We include heavy equipment operators, lead heavy equipment operators, medium equipment operators, maintenance workers, and we also have some seasonals. Our operations over roads, we've got 1,088 miles of roads, 726 paved and 362 unpaved. Those are primarily up in the northern section of Washoe County. If you think about that 1,088 miles of road, if you're in your car out here and you drive to Denver, you've driven the amount of road miles that we have and we maintain. Stormwater assets, we have over 12 million feet of conveyance assets, and that's ditches and culvert pipes. That alone equals over 2,000 miles of assets themselves. So a little perspective here. You put our conveyance and our miles together, you can basically go from the Golden State Bridge all the way out to the East Coast. We also have over 8,000 treatment assets, which are catch basins and drain inlets. Our key responsibilities are crack sealing, pavement patching like you see here in the picture, pothole repairs, signs and striping, sand, salt, and brine, snow plowing, and also snow blowing, like you see in the top photo up there in Incline. One thing to note is when you're snow plowing, you're pushing that snow over to the side. Like up in Incline, once you get so much snow, there's no place to put it. So we go back in and we'll snow blow it up into the trees, out of the right of way. We clean culverts and ditches like you see in the bottom photo there. That's out in Red Rock. We also have a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week emergency response. You have to excuse my braces. Non-Washoe County roads, basically if you think of the McCarran Loop, anything inside that's generally Reno and Sparks. Everything outside is pretty much us. We don't do NDOT either. We're not I-80, 395, 580, or state routes. The little white sign on the side of the road you see with little numbers and letters on it, if you look at the top, if it has SR, that's state route. If you see a WC, that's Washoe County, that's us. That's basically all I have for roads. I'm gonna hand it over to Colleen and Parks.
Hello, everyone. Okay, my name is Colleen Wallace-Barnum, Park Operations Superintendent, and I have the privilege of managing all things in parks. And we manage everything from splash parks to horse arenas to visitor centers. And how do we do that? Well, we have 44 full-time staff, and that's truly the heart of our Parks Department. I know you might think it's the beautiful spaces, but without those people taking care of them, they wouldn't be nearly as valuable as they are. So this is our team of folks, and let's dive a little bit deeper into that team. So we have, like I said, the 44 full-time staff, and then we have over 70 seasonals that we hire, typically between May and October, to help manage that surge activity, our busy time in parks. So our park operations staff, we have maintenance crews. So if you think of anything green and growing in the park, those maintenance crews are out there taking care of it. So the turf, the trees, any type of landscaping areas in our parks. And then we also have the irrigation, anything underground. We live in Nevada, so we don't have a lot of natural water coming out of the sky, and we must irrigate that. And that's a really big part of our assets. We have a project and safety coordinator, and that person manages all of our infrastructure preservation projects, in addition to safety inspections of our playgrounds. Washoe County has 45 playgrounds throughout our parks. We have a natural resource planner who manages our open spaces. We have 12,000 acres of open space, and we do noxious weed abatement, we do some fuels hazard reduction, and then also a lot of our native plant revegetation projects happen in those areas as well. New to our team is a trails program manager. We have over 166 miles of trail in Washoe County, and we are attempting to now manage it better, building some more capacity in that program, and hopefully expanding it, and working with our regional partners on regional trail systems. So our operations crew, some of these titles are district managers, park rangers, recreation coordinator, range safety officer, curator, horticulturalist staff, and volunteer coordinator. So it's quite varied in terms of what we do. And what do these folks manage? They manage building reservations. So any of our facilities in our parks, buildings, picnic pavilions, areas that are reservable by our pools and splash parks. Those are all areas that they manage. Park programming. So anytime, like Lazy Five has a concert series, there's a series of programs out in Bowers Mansion on the porch. The staff put those programs on. Specialty facilities we manage. A lot of special events. If you were most recently at the balloon races, right, at Rancho, that's something that we help manage throughout and have for many, many years. And then, of course, all of the visitors. We have millions of visitors that come to our parks, and we have to manage the visitors as well. So some of our parks and facilities, we have 10 regional parks. Regional parks are typically larger in acreage, several hundred acres. They go from 59 acres to up to 560 acres. So those parks are fairly large. They typically have a diverse staff that's going to manage those parks. We have 10 total of those, and you can see them listed. We have 39 neighborhood parks. So those are going to be more of your pocket parks that are within communities. And then we have 4 specialty facilities. We have the regional shooting facility, regional archery facility, Lemon Valley Horse Arena, as well as the Swan Lake Nature Study area. So we have quite a few specialty areas that we manage as well. We have aquatics facilities, 3 total. We have, and then within our regional parks, we have specialty facilities such as the museum, the Arboretum and Botanical Garden at Rancho San Rafael. We have the Hawkins Amphitheater at Bartley Ranch. We have the Galena Creek Visitor Center, Bowers Mansion, historic mansion. We have Davis Creek Campground, and we also have Camp Wichimi, which is an overnight reservable facility. We have 3 golf courses that are managed via contract. We have 55 ball fields that we manage for youth and adult sports, and 1 tennis complex. And I mentioned the 12,000 acres of open space. So we coordinate regularly with our park reservations team. You heard about that in the customer service at the very beginning of the CSD University. And then also our park planning team. They help manage a lot of the new updates to master plans and whatnot. So we coordinate with them quite regularly. And then we also have a lot of agreements and with local nonprofits. So a lot of this work that's done, we also manage through lease agreements. We have like Washoe Tennis Club helps manage that region, that tennis center. We have an urban farm out at Betsy Collin Donnelly Park that's managed through a lease agreement with Reno Food Systems. So we work with a lot of nonprofits in town as well to help manage our facilities. So some frequently asked questions about parks. How do I reserve some of our beautiful spaces in Washoe County? So you can check our website, which is washoecounty.gov/parks. You can email our Reserve Parks team. They're wonderful at getting back to you quickly about what's available and maybe what fits best for the function that you want to do. And then there's also a phone number there. What are the rules and regulations? Yes, we do have rules and regulations in parks. Chapter 95 is the section of county code that that dictates what we can and can't do in our parks. Just some top ones: we do not allow fires outside of a designated fire pit. You'd be surprised. Dogs and pets must be leashed. I do say pets because we have seen some interesting things on leashes or in strollers. And then there are off-leash areas for dogs. We actually have a pilot program going on right now. Some of our fields that we also do athletic permitting on is also available for off-leash dogs. So that is a possibility, and we're looking at moving in a direction of having more of those areas available because we have a lot of dogs in our community. And then, of course, we say no amplified music. So we do ask that, maybe you sing a song together rather than, bust it out of a boombox. And then our park operations team, they're divided into north and south areas. The staff listed on the FAQ handouts are your main contacts. And I'm going to pass it over to Aaron Smith. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for investing in yourself, learning how CSD operates as one team. My name is Aaron Smith. I'm the Business Intelligence Program Manager. And who you heard from today were our divisions and our groups. And what they all have in common is that you are making decisions that affect the quality of life here in Washoe County. So in the Business Intelligence Program, our goal is to turn data into information and turn information into insight to inform your decisions so that we can make evidence-based practice common. So we do this with numbers and facts, obviously, and you may have heard that it's easy to lie with numbers, but it's hard to tell the truth without them. And it all starts with asking questions. So some of the questions we may have is, when do I expect my capital project to start and end? We can do that with dashboarding, getting data, displaying it to the people who need it. How are we spending our time? What categories? Oh, there it is. Yeah, you want to? What are the trends we're seeing in different systems? Where are we spending our time? And what is the impact of policy on the outcomes that we want? So one question we get a lot in the winter is up in Incline Village, where's my plow? You guys may have seen this. So we fitted our snowplow trucks up in Incline Village with GPS devices, and that sends data in real time up to the cloud, and we grab it and we display it for our citizens to see where the plows are, how long it's been since they've been on their street. So through this process, we're able to provide transparency and better customer service. We receive a lot of phone calls with just this question. And now the phone calls go more like, let me look that up for you. And most of the times we have been on the road. It's just snowed a foot since then. I'm looking at you roads guys. But now we can look it up and zoom out and have broader policy discussions about what it looks like for those levels of service expectations. So do we need to be on that street once every hour to clear the snowplows? If so, what's the resources that are needed? Do we need 4 times the number of fleet? If so, what's that cost? And then start having conversations about the facts of what levels of service are expected, what resources are available, and how we fill those gaps. Another example is down at the operations level. What you see here is a map with points of streetlights. And Bo Duke mentioned it earlier. This is his streetlight inspection program. So every year they go out and they inspect every single streetlight because we own them, but NV Energy maintains them. And operationally, they need to go through and know which ones have been inspected and which ones need to be inspected. So every day they don't have to go and look, where was I? Did we do this area? Now it's on a map. And they collect information from ground level, and we're able to get that information and get it to NV Energy at the end of the program to get those issues resolved quicker and faster. So as Bogtooth said, there are about just over 1,000 streetlights, but we also have 111 million square feet of asphalt, 566 million square feet of parks, 2 million square feet of buildings, 13 million square feet of stormwater assets, and 1.6 million feet of sewer pipes. So we have different asset classes, and they're not all created equal. Not all of them have the same maintenance needs. So through our asset management program, we're asking more questions and gathering data so that we can operate and maintain these assets and have capital plans. We're asking what information, or what do we own? What condition is it in? When do we need to replace it? Where's that funding coming from? How critical are these assets to our missions? And building those operations plans and capital plans. So through the business intelligence program, we're asking those questions, getting information, informing our decisions, and building evidence-based, transparent policies. The last example is with our infrastructure scorecard. And it's where we grouped our asset classes together and scored them on different criteria using metrics and benchmarks to give us a grade on the levels of service. And we're able to have policy level discussions about where the levels of service are and where expectations may need to be. So the result of this is maximizing our limited resources and providing the most value we can with that time. And with that, I'll throw it back to Eric Crump.
Thank you, Aaron. So now that you've heard about all the cool things we do, you want to come work for operations, right? Right. On a more serious note, I really want to thank the superintendents and Rachel and Brian and Aaron and the entire operations team. This team works tirelessly day and night to keep this community safe, to keep folks moving, and to make our lives good quality of life that we enjoy here at Washoe County. And often that's done in some of the harshest conditions. They're out there in the middle of the night with 12 inches of snow, driving over Mount Rose Summit, trying to get up to Incline to serve that community. So I'm seriously honored to be part of that team. I also want to thank our director and assistant county manager for supporting this. This is important. It's really important. I think you can all agree that the more we know and better understand what each of us does, the better we can serve our community. I go back to what Manager Brown said earlier, and really keeping a focus on that customer experience and making that first. I'll turn it over to Dave. Thank you.
All right, thank you all very much. We're just about finished, so I'm really hopeful that this was helpful for all of you. Let's see, well, where am I at? Closing remarks? Let's go to the next one, Aaron. So you heard early on kind of what we do and why we do it. This slide really talks about how we do it. So you heard these beliefs. These are our beliefs. This is what creates the culture that you heard Manager Brown talk about earlier. So there's a culture of Washoe County. There's also a culture of the Community Services Department. For many of you, you may not know, we were actually created out of 5 different departments to create the one Community Services Department. And so along that kind of pathway, we created our beliefs on how we work. So we work as one team. We're here to support ourselves. We're here to support each other. We're also here to support our community. We empower you to find a better way. So, if you've got a better way to do things, bring that up to your supervisor, bring that up to your teammates, bring that up to me. Let's talk about a better way to do our work, because unfortunately, the reality is we don't have a bunch of cash sitting around to go buy new people to help us through our process. But we need to get smart about how we're doing the work. I like to say, it's not working, it's not more with less, it's really more with the same. and it's working smarter rather than harder. So you all have great ideas, and so that's the next part. My input matters. So your input does matter to this organization, and if you have ideas, bring them forward, because that's how we get to the point where we are serving our community in such a fashion that they get what they need from us. Obviously, we want to make it easier. All of these things kind of come with make it easier. I talked about that in the beginning. If we can make it easier for our customer, it's easier for us. If it's easier for us, it's easier just to show up to work every day. The third one is a little misunderstood sometimes. Mistakes are okay. We learn by making mistakes. And so if we're making mistakes, we are learning, we are doing better things. Now, I don't mean make the same mistake over and over and over again. Make a mistake, learn from it, and move on. This also really pushes towards pushing the envelope. So we want you to be creative. We want you to try new things. Even if you fail, mistakes are okay. So these are our beliefs. This is what makes us the Community Services Department. Just want to make sure you're all aware. These are out there. They're in your packet. Have any questions about them, feel free to shoot me an email, a text, stop by my office. I really like talking about kind of what this really means to our organization. Within our organization, opportunities exist for participation. So the first group here, the Strategic Planning Implementation Team, the SPIT team, that is the group that made this possible for all of us. So I'd like to have Aaron and April and Dylan and Mitch and Megan stand up, because this is your SPIT team. This is the group that works behind the scenes to make sure that our strategic planning, our initiatives, our beliefs, our behaviors are being really realized within the Community Services Department. So this is a group of individuals. Thank you all very much for allowing us or helping us to get this done today. Very impressed with this group of individuals. Along those lines, there are other opportunities for you to be involved with Washoe County Community Services Department, whether it's the Strategic Communication Team, whether it's our hub website design and support, CSD All-Stars. I think a lot of you have probably been recognized through the CSD All-Star group. Focus groups that we have from time to time to make sure that we are doing what we say we are doing. We are actually bringing that forward to you, so those beliefs that you feel included and inclusive and are able to bring things forward to us. And then countywide, there are multiple groups that you can be involved in as well. So if you have a passion outside of the job you're doing for the Community Services Department, talk to your supervisor, talk to their supervisor, talk to me. We can find something else for you to do. It's always really nice to have something else to be able to do, some time to be able to take outside of your day-to-day job to give you that little break and learn something else, learn something to help you grow. So plenty of opportunities, just ask. Next item, I spoke a little bit about the Strategic Communication Team. All of the information about today, all of the information about all the divisions within the Community Services Department, all that is on Inside CSD. So that is our communication platform. Much like Inside Washoe is for the county, we have Inside CSD. It's got all the data and everything that Aaron's talking about. There's some really cool stuff in there. If you have a couple of minutes, at the end of your shift, go in there, just take a look at what's there. This is our communication platform. We've tried to go away from all county emails. I don't know about you guys, but I get enough emails. If I want to find the information, this is where I go. This is where I know that information will be. So this really is your tool to get the information that you need. All of the contacts, everything else you need are on Inside CSD. So with that, thank you all for being here today.